today, Bill? This beautiful spring day.
This is an absolutely gorgeous day, and the peak of spring. The flowers are coming out. The trees have buds.
Yeah.
And we are in East Cemetery, or sometimes known as Little River Cemetery, in Northampton, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And this is without doubt. We have a number of favorite cemeteries, beautiful cemeteries. This has got to be in the top 10, I would say.
You should see this in the fall.
Yes, in the fall.
Or even in the summer.
Absolutely. But today now with the budding trees, it's very, very pretty. And it's home, or the final resting place, of several notable people. Over here a little bit behind the camera is a Governor Alvin T. Fuller, who many people on the seacoast in Hampton will remember or know of the Fuller residence.
Yeah.
He was a governor of Massachusetts, a philanthropist, and I'm pretty sure we're going to do a piece on him.
I think we're going
to
look into him a little more.
We'll be back to see him.
Yeah.
There's also Morris Lamprey, who was a respected individual lawyer here in the town, another philanthropist, I believe.
Yeah.
Lillian Rogers, who I don't really know a lot, but she's a poet.
Yeah.
And when we looked into her a little bit, there was a piece on her most notable poem, and we recognized her right away.
We did. So, and I think we might just take a quick look at her grave and read that poem.
They do have, apparently they have living history tours here where people dress up like the, But today we're here to visit the final resting place of Ogden Nash. And Rick wrote the piece on Ogden, so we're going to let Rick tell the story.
Well, Ogden lived from 1902 to 1971. He was he was recognized at his time for light verse. Really, I guess, is as good a word as any. But he was so good at just taking something very simple and turning it into a rhyme that told a very interesting story sometimes. And in fact, New York Times called him the best known creator of humorous poetry during his lifetime. He loved wordplay, puns, rhymes. I mean, he must have been a very interesting person. One of those guys that everything that came out of his mouth, I don't know. He was on radio, he was on TV, he was a lecturer. He won the National Book Award for Old Dogs, An Old Dog Barks Backwards. Interesting.
Yeah.
They even had a commemorative stamp with his picture on it. He wrote screenplays for Hollywood. Mm-hmm. If you really want to have some fun with Ogden, go to YouTube and look him up. Some of his live, at that time, performances are on YouTube. And some of them are very funny. One of my favorites is Portrait of an Artist as a Prematurely Old Man. We're not prematurely old. But
we've hit that part of the curve.
But listening to him read it is really half the fun. It
brings it to life, yeah.
It really brings it to life. I mean, we can't do justice to it because he really knew how to talk about it. But starting in 1933, he started spending his time in the summer here in Northampton and loved it enough that he was buried here along with his wife and his manservant.
Yes, very interesting. Yes.
You want to hear a couple of his observations?
I would love to, yes. Although this is one of my favorite. I'm sure it is yours too.
But to keep your marriage brimming with love in the loving cup, whenever you're wrong, admit it. Whenever you're right, shut up.
Yes.
The door of a bigoted mind opens outwards so that the only result of the pressure of facts upon it is close to it more snugly. When grandparents enter the door, discipline flies out the window. Yeah. I don't know if that's 100% true.
Being grandparents, no.
This is my favorite because this is my dog, our dog, my wife Jane's, and our dog. This is so much the truth. A door is what a dog is perpetually on the wrong side of.
Yes.
I don't know how often I'm sitting on the porch.
Yeah.
Wants to come in. 2 seconds later, wants to go out. This one's not so, probably considered so great nowadays. I don't know. But candy is dandy, but liquor is quicker.
Yes, and I think that comes under my favorite. But yes, it's probably not as proper as it should be these days. But it is funny none the same.
Yes. And here's one that kind of does attack, I think I can identify with. You are only young once, but you can stay immature indefinitely.
I guess, yes.
Yeah. Now here he's talking to the Lord. He decided on a beautiful day like this to go to the beach. And this is his poem to the Lord. I didn't go to church today. I trust the Lord to understand. The surf was swirling blue and white, children swirling on the sand. He knows how brief my stay, how brief the spell of summer weather. He knows when I'm said and done, we'll have plenty of time together.
I would change that probably to the beach to fishing.
There you go. All right. Well,
Not the same sentiment, all the same.
he also wrote kind of a couple of other things that were quite famous. He tried to look at the world through the eyes of an octopus, and that was called The Octopus. He also wrote a little bit of something about a word to husbands. I think that's probably where that thing about shut up came from. The cow, he tries to understand what it's like to be a cow. And people upstairs, if you've ever lived in an apartment building, you can kind of imagine what that could be about. And then the pig, on the fate of pigs in their role of providing food. But basically, he's somebody you should check out, and you can. Obviously, his books are available and his poems, and as I said, YouTube is a good place to check him out.
Yep, absolutely.
So Ogden, enjoy your poetry. There's also a sign out here about dogs.
Yes.
And it's written in the same kind of vernacular, so to speak, that Ogden would have written in. And I should have quoted it. I don't know if I can quote it exactly, but the essence of it is you can bring a dog here.
Yes.
And they just ask you to clean up after it.
Yes, when you're done.
There'll be a picture of that in the video, but we appreciate that because we're both dog lovers and owners, and usually we cannot bring our dogs with us because most cemeteries don't allow them.
You kind of understand.
And you do, understand.
I think we're probably going to take you for a little tour.
A little bit of a tour of the cemetery.
Around the cemetery here before we get finished.
Well, we're going to go visit Lillian.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yep. The beautiful church up here, we're going to make sure that shows up in the film.
Yep. So Ogden, Mrs. Nash, the manservant, rest in peace.
Yes. Good day to go to the beach.
Yep. So maybe that's where we should be.
Yes.
Oh, we thought we'd just make a quick stop by here for Lillian Rogers. On her grave, it says, "Perhaps my little poems will be my fragile immortality." I don't think Lillian had the same fame as Ogden Nash, but lived, I think, a very full life, as did her husband, who was also a well-known teacher. And I think it says what he taught for over 50 years. That, we might come back and do a little more research on them. But we do have one sort of quick poem that we found from Lillian, and both Bill and I recognized it. So obviously she has some immortality out there. But here it goes. First, a howling blizzard woke us. Then the rains came down and soaked us. Now before the eyes can focus, crocus. Rest in peace, Lillian and Percy.